Okay, so let's have a conversation. What is this? Orientation is locked. I'm not rotating. Do I have to be vertical? Oh, I don't want to be vertical. My goodness. All right. Anyway, so here I am in the urban garden, and you're down low with me because today we're going to talk about parsley and other things and what they do when they go to seed. Gosh, I hate these vertical videos. I'm not a fan. Anyway, so this is a parsley plant. Let's see if I can get this fully in the frame. There we go. This is a parsley plant. Um, you can see there's some babies around it down here, and I'll pull one of those to show you because I have thousands. So this is a parsley. This is a baby parsley plant. It's got little roots, and then you've got your leaves that you eat right there, and they're delicious, right? So the way you get a million baby parsley plants is you watch the leaf structure on your parsley. Like, don't kill off your parsley at the end of the year. Leave the fading plant over winter. Leave it through the fall and the winter. Just ignore it. Let it die down there. My plant actually stays a little green at the bottom. I'm in zone 7A. So it's just warm enough that the base of this plant, the roots and the very base, will survive over the winter. It's not good food in the winter. Um, it's just some green leaves under the snow. But what happens is the second year, the leaves change shape. And I'll show you an example here. Here's a good example. So this is the parsley you're eating. You see that? The shape? How the leaves are nice and round and thick. Then they start to get pointy and thin. These are the same plant. This is parsley, both kinds. This is first year leaves, edible, tasty parsley. Not very strong, but strong enough. As they get pointy like this, they become a little more bitter and very strong. And what's happening is the plant is taking all the energy it was putting into the leaves, and it's putting it into flower heads. So after those leaves get pointy and you start to see the shape of the leaves change, then you will start to see these little flower heads form. And they look very similar to a carrot. They're not, but they look similar. So when you get these flower heads on here, what I usually do is I just leave it. At this point, this plant is going to, all this top stuff, right? All the stuff on the top. This is all seeds for next year's parsley. You can still eat these bottom leaves down here that are round, but these top leaves, again, same plant, but the leaves will start to change shape. You know, it's bolting. When you talk about a plant bolting, what it's doing is it's shooting up these leaves that are specialized to make flowers, right? So we have the edible, yummy parsley herb, and then we have this stronger flavored pointy leaves. And you can still eat these. They won't hurt you. Nothing here will hurt you. A parsley is a parsley. They just don't taste as good as these early ones. So if you leave it over winter and you get these seed heads, usually they have seeds in them by early August. So it takes about a month or so for them to go from a baby, not opened yet flower, to an opened flower, which it'll have little flowers on it, and then each one will make a little pod, and inside each pod will be a seed. And what I usually do is at that point, because I'm very lazy, again, this is my garden is a testament to laziness and having no money or energy. So when they dry out and they start to become those little pods, I'll take this whole plant and I'll just shake it. And I want to show you, this is the parsley patch, because underneath here are baby parsley plants that have all grown up from the seeds from last year. So this plant right here, um, is going to produce the seeds for next year, from these pointy leaves and these little flowers. Almost every plant in your garden is going to try to make seeds. Their whole goal in life, the whole reason they grow at all, is so that they can make seeds and make more plants and reproduce. So you'll have things like dill flowers really early, right? So here's our dill, and you can see it's already starting to get yellow, like these little yellow flowers. Again, this, like the parsley, the whole plant is still edible. It'll still taste like dill. You can even take these pretty flowers and cut them and put them in your dill pickles or whatever. But it won't taste this quite the same once it starts to bolt. With some plants, things get really bitter. So I'll actually pull this up because I've got several of these here. So this is a curly lettuce. And originally it was a bunch of leaves. Delicious, tender little curly leaves, right? These little kind of oak leaf lettuce. Delicious, right? And then it started to make a stalk, like one big stalk. When it does that, all these little leaves are kind of bitter. So they're still edible. You can still put them in your salad, but they don't taste as good. And what it's trying to do is make a big flower at the top there. That flower will have all of the seeds plant can make inside it. And I have several of those here. I'm just letting them grow now that they've bolted so that I have more seed from that lettuce for next year. Let me take you around the garden. Let's find some other things. You are my favorite. Marcus, favorite. My favorite. Other things that bolt and go to seed in a weird way. And this is a really cool one, because this means you only have to plant this thing one time. Sorry, I'm real close. So here's our garlic, right? And you know, chefs and gardeners and people, they get all excited when the scapes come. This is a scape. So what happens is the plant makes a lot of leaves, looks very nice, healthy plant, lots of leaves. And then this one weird leaf comes up in the middle of the garlic. This thing is on the end of it. And it'll spin around, just like this one is. And when it's spun around, you're told, you can, if you want, pull it out of there. And then this is delicious. You just take these, chop them up, fry them with butter. I like butter, lemon, pepper, and salt. But you can eat these, and they're delicious. Or you can do what I do and leave a few. Like I picked several out of here, but I've left some. Because what's going to happen in here is this is the plant bolting. It's bolting. It's making its babies for next year. And so inside this, you will have little bulbs, like little cloves, tiny little cloves of garlic. And you can plant those. What happens with those is next year you get a plant that has no scape. It won't make one of these. And under the ground, it'll be just one big bulb clove. No cloves, just one big bulb. First year garlic, it's called. First year. So this is playing the long game when you plant those little bulbs that are in there. And you have to wait until you see bulbs. Like you'll see it. It'll start to pop open. You'll see little baby garlic bulbs in there. Replant those and you get your first year garlic. And that stuff you can either eat, again, the whole plant's edible, you can eat it, or you can just leave it alone and ignore it for another year until it makes one of these. And then you can pull this and eat it, and then you'll get a bulb with lots of cloves in the bottom, or you can leave it and plant those again and keep a continual, forever garlic crop growing with those. Now, I like these so much it's really hard for me to leave any, but I try to leave the garlic patch that survived without any help. So this is in a spot that you see it's outside of a garden bed. There's some weeds and junk around it. I didn't do anything to help this garlic. I just put some of these babies in the ground year before last and just ignored them. And so it's grown. So I'm leaving as many of these as possible because I know this garlic survived without any help from me. I didn't have to do anything to it. And anything that grows here where I don't have to help it, That's my favorite stuff. I don't want to help. I don't want to do anything. I want to sit around and read books and stare at the garden. I don't want to be out here working in the hot sun. So replant these when it bolts, let that go until it's mature, and replant them. Wait 2 years, and you'll have a whole head of cloves. You can also, replant your cloves. So you get your garlic, you pick out your 2 or 3 best garlics, you cure them, you dry them, and then in October or whatever time of year is right for where you're at, your season, then you replant those cloves. If you plant a clove from under the ground, the garlic will be ready next year. If you plant a little bulb clove from these, it'll be ready year after next. But of course, you can always pull it early and eat that one big bulb. It's just one big fat clove. It's really weird. And they're a little mild. So that's bolting in garlic, bolting in parsley, bolting in dill. Dill and parsley. Oh, dill, parsley, carrots, and lettuce are very similar. They will bolt, they'll make their flowers, collect their seeds. You can replant those immediately, or you can wait a little bit. Then we have things like, what else is bolting? Oh, you're so crooked. I hate this vertical video. Vertical. Okay, so this is bok choy. I had to look. I have 2 things here. So these are bok choy, right? When the plant starts making these, again, another plant where the whole thing is edible. Every piece of a brassica plant is going to be food. You could eat these little flowers and these little seed pods and all the stems and all the leaves, everything. The whole time the plant is alive, the whole thing is edible. But again, you get these big, round, nice leaves, and they're delicious, right? It tastes really good. And then over time, it starts making, again, pointy leaves. See that? It's pointy. See that? It's got a point on it. So they're not rounded anymore, they're pointy, and that means the plant is ready to start reproducing. It'll flower, and these flowers, they get pollinated. If they get pollinated, you'll see coming along next to them these seed pods, and these will be long green tubes. They're full of seeds. So what you do is you can eat the flowers, of course. You can put them in your food, and they're very pretty and they're delicious. But at this point, the leaves don't taste as good. So this is flowering time. Broccoli will do this, cauliflower, kohlrabi, mustard, cabbage, bok choy. I've got mustard here, bok choy, and broccoli rabe, which makes little tiny broccolis, right? All of these will flower the same way. They all kind of look the same when they flower. But you can take these little, see this little, I don't know if you can see that, but it's not flowered open yet. That's like a baby broccoli. You can take tons of those and eat them just like baby broccoli. Or you can let the flowers go and then wait. And what'll happen is these green seed pods will dry out. They'll get dry. And as they dry out, you can shake them and hear the seeds inside them. And when that happens, then you're going to collect them. You're going to take this whole thing, cut the stalk at the bottom, and just put it in a bucket and bang it around in a bucket. And you'll get seeds out of it. And then you replant those. You can plant those right away. You can store them, dry them out and store them, and plant them next year. Sometimes you get these weird kind of crossbred. I have one here. This was it was originally, I think, broccoli rabe is what I took the seeds off of. But it was like this, where it was mixed with a bunch of other brassicas. And so it crossbred. It makes little baby broccolis and big, like, mustard-looking leaves. It's delicious. It's like my favorite thing. And again, I just leave it alone. So again, when the plant is ready to bolt, it will make a stalk, right? It won't just be leaves. It'll have this stalk coming up the middle. And as you go up the stalk, the leaves get pointier and thinner and pointier and thinner. And then it'll make its flower. And from that flower, you collect your seeds for next year. If you're not growing stuff that can be harmful from crossbreeding, you can do this with every plant in your garden and save seed for next year. You'll get crossbreeds, you'll get hybrids, you'll get all kinds of stuff that's different from what you originally planted. But with brassicas, doesn't matter. They're all going to be edible. With garlic, garlic doesn't cross-pollinate usually, so it'll all be edible. Parsley, dill, cilantro, coriander seeds, oregano, all the herbs basically, and all the brassicas, all the lettuces, all your tomatoes. Tomatoes don't cross-pollinate usually. The stamen in their flower is so far back that they don't cross with other tomatoes. So you're pretty much going to get the same tomato as long as it's an heirloom or a stabilized variety, city living. You're going to always get the same kind of tomato that you took the seeds from. It's very rare that you'll get something different unless you're planting hybrid tomatoes. Then you might get a variety of different kinds of plants. The only time that you shouldn't save seeds from something is if you get a squash that doesn't taste good. Squash have a thing called bitter gourd chemical. It's a chemical in them that makes them kind of bitter. And it's usually decorative gourds, things like, those birdhouse gourds or loofahs, things like that. If you're planting those in your garden and they're close enough to regular squashes, they can put that bitter chemical into your squash, and you might grow a whole plant from saved seed. And then when you cut one open, you should always, if you're replanting and saving squash seeds, the first squash off that vine, cut it open, taste it raw. If it doesn't taste bitter, it's good, it's fine, the whole plant is good. If it tastes slightly bitter or a little bit too bitter to just eat, then you've got that bitter gourd, that toxin in the squash, and you should pull that plant out. It's not going to make anything edible. That's really the only exception to this bolting, saving seeds, like with the parsley or anything. You want to be careful with squashes. And it's really, it's one of those things where just take a raw taste, a little slice, and taste that first squash. And if it's not bitter, you're cool. If it's bitter, don't eat it. It'll give you raging, explosive, violent diarrhea. Like, seriously, it's bad. Other things that will bolt. Here's more lettuce and spinach, right? We have here a spinach. Spinach bolts for me really early. I'm just going to pull this whole thing out to show you. So spinach bolts early for me. Why? I think it's because of the heat here. It comes on so fast. So you can see at the bottom there's a few leaves that would have been edible. They're rounded at the tips, right? And then about halfway they start to get pointy. They have an arrow shape. That stalk started coming up and the leaves started to get pointy at that spot. And you can see in here the little flowers of the spinach. And if you go further up, you can see each one has little flowers. So you get to the top, big flower head, right? And that will make a shitload of spinach seeds. Now, again, the whole plant's food. Still tastes good to me. Some people might think it's a little too bitter. I don't mind a little bitter greens, but this is still food. And it'll make the seeds, again, they'll dry out. And these are kind of like hard, weird seeds. But you can pull those seeds out, replant them, and you've got new garlic. Or you can dry them out, save them, and then next year, there's your spinach seeds. I planted 2 kinds of spinach this year, and I pulled this one because this one bolted early. So any of the ones that have no bottom growth, they were just, they went straight to seed. I'll pull those because I don't want seeds from those. I want seeds from these here that got big before they went to seed. That's a weed. Let's get that out of there. Lettuce does the same thing. All this lettuce. None of this lettuce over here is bolting. And you can tell when lettuce is bolting if you look in the middle and then you look along the side, you'll see it's making that stalk, that central stalk. And that central stalk will be how it flowers and makes the seeds. These onions are struggling here. Here's one that's on the verge of bolting. I'm going to actually cut this one because it's going to bolt soon. I got to eat it. Now with lettuce, I harvest strangely with lettuce, I guess. I kind of grab at the bottom and pull the whole thing up if I want a head, or I'll just pull a leaf off if I want the leaves. So this one's about to bolt. You can tell your lettuce is about to bolt when you look along and you can see a stalk forming inside in the leaves. See that? That's like a stem. It shouldn't have a stem, it should just have leaves. And then if you look at the center, you can see how tall that center is compared to the sides. It shouldn't be like that. And it's because, again, if we look inside, you can see that stalk forming. So right in here somewhere would be the flower head of this lettuce. We don't want that. We want to eat this lettuce as lettuce. And these kinds of head lettuces, they get very, very bitter when they go to seed. So we caught this just in time. And I always put any kind of leftover junk goes right back into the dirt, right back into the bed. So that's bolting in lettuce, bolting in brassicas, bolting in herbs, bolting in garlic. Onions will bolt the second year, so will leeks. They make really cool flower heads. Let's go find one. It's so peaceful when there's no cars going by, isn't it? I don't go live very often, but oh, here's some radishes bolting. Let's talk about radishes for a minute. Radishes are cool. So, radishes, they do this thing. I mean, this radish is huge. I gotta show you this, baby. I don't know if you can see the base of that. It's massive. I don't know, it's like a beet, or it's just crazy, this radish. Anyway, it grew along the pathway on its own. So I've left it be. So the base, the root is food. You know that radishes are the root, and they're the food. And again, it'll have leaves with that root. Totally fine. And then it'll start, again, to make this stem, this like weird, long stem, right? And when you see that, you know that the radish is going to bolt. The nice thing with radishes is that if you let them flower and you let them do it, you get radish pods, and radish pods are delicious. These are like spicy peas. Every part of a radish is edible. The leaves, the flowers, the pods, the root, every part. Radish leaves, it doesn't matter if it's bolted or not. Radish leaves make really good pesto. It's like spicy, like radishy. Really good. So you don't have to abandon your radish when they start to bolt. You can just wait and pick off these pods and eat them, because these are food and they're really good. What else is bolting? We're gonna walk all the way over here. I might need you guys taller for this part. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. So, can you see this? Is it visible? Yes. These are onion flowers, right? I'm crazy about onions. Onion seed only stays good for like a year. So like this seed that's forming here, if I don't plant it in the spring, in the winter, in the spring coming up, it won't be good anymore. But onions are another one. When they bolt like this, they're not putting their energy into the onion part anymore. And that's no good, because you want to eat the onion part in the bottom, right? But again, which are little baby tiny onion bulbs, and the greens, every onion is like this. The greens are edible, and then at the bottom, under the ground, they'll have a bulb. Now, walking onions, you plant these once from these little top sets, and you never think about them again. They just make more onions. As long as you leave the bulb in the ground, they'll keep making greens, and they'll make these every year. And you can replant some of these and then pull the bulb. The bulb isn't as tasty as like other kinds of onions, annual onions, but it's still pretty good. It's an onion. The green's really good, and these are just delicious. I have nothing else out here that's really bolting. Well, my auroch. Auroch seeds itself. The stuff grows itself. It's a lot like spinach, where it's edible the entire time. Every part of the plant is edible, and it's a really good green. Those red things, they sow themselves. They grow on their own. They do their own thing. I didn't plant any for the last 2 years, and I still have a good crop. I've gotten like maybe 2 pounds of the leaves. And you just cook them like spinach. They're a little sweet, like beet greens. Things like beets and carrots, they do the same. We're going to walk around the corner here, around the tobacco patch. Oh, we're getting stuck on everything. Making you seasick. So, because I see something over here, I want to show you chard. Chard is a relative of beets. So chards and beets are pretty much the same plant. Beets make good roots, chard makes good leaves, but they are relatives. So this is a big patch of chard that stayed alive all winter. I was eating it all winter, and now it's bolted. It made those stalks that stem, and now it's making its little flowers. You can see they're not very visible or attractive, but they are there. They're green. And pretty soon there will be seeds on these. And all of the seed from this I'm going to save. I only planted 2 kinds of chard, so I'm going to save all of the seed from this. And I'm going to replant it in the spring. And then I'll have another big patch of chard. There's a radish in here too. Look at these. Look at these delicious spicy peas. Yum. Now, with fruits like tomatoes, squash, the goal is for them to bolt, because they're making a fruit for you, a thing that you pick off. The flower gets pollinated, makes the food that you're going to eat. So that's intentional. But, oh God, sorry about that. But all the things that you grow for leaves, when they bolt, and they will bolt, some plants you can eat the entire plant. Some plants you can't. I can't think of any right now that I've showed you. Everything I've showed you today, you can eat the whole plant the whole time. And you can tell when things are going to bolt by looking among the leaves for the start of a stem. There it is. See that stem? It's lettuce. It shouldn't have a stem. There shouldn't be a central trunk. It should just be leaves. So look for that when your plant starts to get tall in the middle. Look for that stalk. Some things, some of the brassicas, you can cut that stalk down, eat it. It's like a baby broccoli. You can eat those florets. With things like lettuce, just cut it when you start seeing that stalk. Or, you can try to cut the inside out and see if it'll grow a few more leaves for you. With spinach, as soon as you see that pointy leaves, stalks, just cut it, because spinach won't really make more bushiness. Spinach wants to make a patch of leaves, and when it starts to make that flower stalk, it's done. With parsley, with dill, fennel even, if they start to bolt, go ahead and eat it anyway. Eat the flowers, or leave the flowers and save the seeds. I have a huge seed collection because I save the seeds. Look at all the junk behind me. I save the seeds from everything I grow. Let me show you some. And the way I do this is actually pretty simple. I'm going to put my lettuce down here. So this is my seed collection. Inside those are a bunch of these, right? This is Johnny's. These are Johnny's bok choy. But what I do is I take little pieces of cardboard, paper, or old seed packets, and when I collect the seeds, I dry them on a little tray until they're pretty dry. I put them in, and I use a Sharpie or something to write the new thing that I saved. Put them in one of these. These all have a label on them somewhere, says what's in them. And then I have seeds for next year. So you can do that. You can save all your seeds. If something bolts, you can check online to see if the entire plant is edible. I mean, and some plants, the flowers are really good. Like, oh God, I'm stuck on everything with this tripod. Things like brassicas. When you're eating broccoli, you're just eating unopened flowers. So obviously brassicas, the flowers are really good. You can cut all those little flower heads off and make a little broccoli out of it. And it doesn't have to be broccoli to do that. Brassicas will all be fine like that. Herbs like parsley, dill, fennel, sage, even lovage, oregano, they're fine. They get a little more strongly flavored when they start to bolt, but it's okay. Thyme leaves taste good, but thyme flowers taste incredible. So some of these things, just take little tastes in the garden, taste everything. My hair's a mess. Taste everything a little bit. See if it tastes good or bad to you. I know my grandfather preferred those tops of the parsley where it's flowering. Like, he didn't like regular parsley. He liked that part, all the flowers on it chopped up as his parsley. I don't know why, but that was his preference. So you have to be tasting everything to see what you like, and that's how you're going to grow it. And plants that most of the plant or all of the plant are edible, squashes are included in that. You can slice up the stems and fry them. You can take the leaves and use them like a grape leaf or a fig leaf and make a stuffed leaf out of them. They're edible. The flowers are delicious. Stuff them with a little ricotta or some rice or something or whatever. Deep fry them or just saute them with stuff inside them or bake them. Delicious squash flowers. The squash obviously are edible, but the entire plant's food. As long as it doesn't have that bitter taste in the first bite of the very first squash on it, then the entire plant will be edible and will be good for you. Tomatoes, no. No, only tomato. The tomato is the food. The rest of the plant will make you kind of sick. And it's the same with nightshades. Potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, eggplants. The only thing that's edible on those is the fruit. But you can save seed from all of those. They won't cross, they won't hybridize really in your garden. Peppers might, but the rest of them won't. So you can save seed from all of that stuff. So that is today, talking about bolting and showing the parsley bolting, what it looks like when it changes. If anyone's got questions about any garden stuff, again, I am not a master gardener or any kind of major professional. I've just been gardening on this same spot for about a decade. I had a garden before that for about another decade. So I've just been gardening a long time. And I can answer most of the beginner questions. And if I can't answer them, I can always ask someone to come join me or get the information from someone who knows more than I do. A lot of this really depends on your zone too. Not just your zone, but what it's like, your climate. Where I live, it's zone 7A, and it is a very arid, dry climate. So the summer here is brutal. I'm at 2,000 elevation, so it's beating direct, intense, crazy sun. No rain from like the end of June until the beginning of October. It's completely dry for at least 2 months. The dirt is silt. I have to add things to make silt better. What else? The winters are very cold, very windy, and can desiccate and dry out plants. But it's also, we get snowpack, we get rain. So even though I am in Washington State, I am not in the warm, wet western half. I'm on the inside of the rain shadow, so those Cascade Mountains block all the rain and all the cool air. Um, so it's Intermountain West, I guess, is the designation, but it's very dry, very arid place. So you have to look at where you live. What is the soil type? What is your dirt like? Just your regular dirt, not, your garden dirt, but like the dirt. Dig up a shovelful and look at it. Is it sand? Is it clay? Is it silt? Loam? I don't know. Does it have a lot of acid from big pine trees like I have? Um, how dry is it? How much do you have to water? How much do you want to water? All of these questions, how much energy you want to put in, how much time, those will determine what you plant. And so the things that I've recommended and talked about here are here. They are things that do good here, like that auroch doesn't care if it's drought, doesn't care if it's growing in dust with no water at all. It will reseed. It'll give me spinachy, beet colored, spinach flavored leaves. Even if I completely ignore it, it'll grow up in the cracks in the pavement. The radish pods, again, that grew in a crack next to the pavement, and it's making delicious little spicy peas. It has also got a radish, a handful of radish at the base. Sunflowers and Jerusalem artichokes grow like wild here. They'll take over if you let them. Black raspberries, and apples. Apple trees grow like weeds here. And a lot of the diseases that apple trees get from humid environments, they don't get it here. So, again, think about where you're at, what's growing there, what's native there. We have a native amaranth that's a weed here, which means that amaranth will grow really well here. It'll take over because one of the local plants that's really, really aggressive is a relative of amaranth. Um, so you can look at things like that and say, okay, so, the native plant that grows here really well is dandelion. Well, now you know that radicchio, chicory, those things will grow really well. Because if dandelions will grow in a crack in the sidewalk, chicory will grow there and you can eat it. You can eat the baby leaves in salads. You can put the flowers on your salads. The whole plant's edible. Or you can roast the root, grind it up and add it to your coffee, and it tastes really, really. It's why New Orleans coffee tastes good. It's good stuff. But it all depends where you are. And the time when things bolt is going to vary depending on like your frost date, how hot it got, how fast, how cold it was in the spring, all those kinds of things. So that'll change year to year. You never have an exact day or week when a specific thing will bolt. You just have to go out as often as you can. I come out every morning with my coffee. Well, morning for me. Whenever I wake up, I get my coffee and I come out. And me and the dog, we just walk around the whole garden and look at everything. I just look at everything. I don't really do anything. I'm puttering around. I'm not really doing work. But I see the things that are getting ready to bolt. I'm looking at everything to see if it's injured, if it's doing good, that kind of stuff. And catching things early when they're about to bolt with lettuce and stuff like that is really good. Then you get it before it goes bad. With other stuff like the parsley and things like that, you can maybe get a last good big handful of those round leaves if you like them better. So, again, like there's like a saying, the best fertilizer a farmer has is his shadow. So like, I don't know if that's the saying, I don't know. But like putting your feet on the ground and looking and spending time looking at your plants and being around them, getting to know them is more important than almost anything else that you do. Because everything out here could die, right? I mean, it's a garden. I've killed a lot of plants. And you have to kill a lot of plants to be able to even grow one. So even if I'm out here looking at dying stuff, I'm learning something and I'm like, okay, this is what I can try next time instead. But I highly recommend things that reseed, that you can save seed, the garlic, the walking onions, the orach, the perennial plants that will come back again and again with very little effort from you. That parsley where you can just shake it and the seeds fall and they will pop up when they're ready. All the way through until the next year, they'll keep popping up and it'll keep growing more and more parsley for you. Um, Something like that is the ideal because it's good food, it's expensive in the store, and it's very easy to grow here where I am. So look for those kinds of things. And again, if you have questions, comment or, gosh, I don't know. This channel's so dead all the time. I'm doing my best, guys. I'll see you next time.